Go.
Good evening, FSU. I'm student meteorologist Sammy Squires.
And I'm student meteorologist Catherine Busick. Happy Friday. We have a good show for you today.
Of course, with these temperatures now in the 50s, kind of cooling off with that cold front that passed through.
Yes.
But with that cold, we also have plenty of sun.
Yes, lots of sun, and get excited for a lot of golf. Today we're going to be talking a lot about golf. Tiger Woods is playing in San Francisco, I think.
Close to San Diego,
Close
actually.
to San Diego,
yes.
all right. I don't know.
So
this is
we'll
Michael's
be focusing
show.
a little bit on that, especially in the National. I'll go over that. But other than that, we have lots of high-pressure systems dominating over the U.S., other than the north. Now, the northeast, they are still getting some snow, but it's very cold.
Yes, and snow is in Arkansas currently, and Miami's still been getting a lot of precipitation over the last 48 hours.
Exactly. So we'll focus a little bit more into that on the show, but for now, we're going to take things off over to Jake
with the overview.
All right, thanks, guys. Let's see if we can go 5 minutes without mentioning the word golf on the show. I'm sure we're going to have more on that later on. But for now, we're going to look at the current conditions across Tallahassee. A beautiful day for us. Some more clouds working into our picture over the last few hours or so. Cooling down to 54 degrees just past 6 p.m. A light northerly breeze helping to keep things cool and dry at the surface. We see that right here. A bit of a deck of low-level clouds working their way through the region over the last couple of hours ahead of another front that's going to help to reinforce this high pressure that's going to be working in and settling over our region over the weekend here. We see that if we zoom out. Right about now, we have this front that's currently draped over portions of the southeast. If I step off to the side here, this high pressure right behind it, centered over Mississippi right now, will slide over our region, set up for just a fantastic 3-day forecast ahead. A bit on the cool side, though. Temperatures slightly below average, about 5 degrees here. 59 for the high Saturday as well as Sunday. Monday, temperatures rebound a bit up to 63 degrees before our next rainmaker will come back into the picture. So we have a cool but dry weekend on the way. The rain will be back in our picture on Wednesday and a well below average end of the month of January. And of course, later on, we're also going to have the mulligan of the monster truck forecast. For now, back to the desk where Catherine and Sammy are standing by.
Thanks, Jake. We're still living off that fun high we had yesterday with Dylan making a fool of himself. But we're going to talk about our next metro for next week. Today we're talking about Little Rock, Arkansas.
You're talking about it, actually,
I'm
right?
talking about Little Rock, Arkansas. There's some snow and some icy conditions up there, so it'll be fun to talk about. But
so we're going to pick the new city of the week. Would you like to pick it?
Sure. Ooh, Jackson, Mississippi?
Yes. We were just talking about that before the show, actually.
Talking about Mississippi.
I told her to help remember where that is by Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars, yeah, I'm not from here, so I need to learn all my southeastern states, which is fun because I get to talk about the southeastern forecast.
And you get to learn about more of the cities as well by doing these forecasts as well.
It'll be super fun. But we're going to send it over to Sarah. We have a local forecast, so for now, we're done talking about the southeast. If Sarah's ready for the local forecast.
Yeah, guys, thanks. That's been kind of cool, kind of closer here at home. And as we see in this almanac, we are below our average temperature as we did have that cold front push its way through this past couple weeks. So our high today, we hit 58 degrees for our high, low of 32. So very chilly out there. If you did go out, had those morning classes and experienced that cool weather, you did have to kind of bundle up for that morning and then kind of shed those layers a little bit into the afternoon time. Current conditions though around the Big Bend area, very pleasant in those 50s, 52 in Quincy, 54 in Tallahassee, and Thomasville at 50 as well. Pretty nice all around our current conditions. And then in our dew points, we can see what that cold front brought in those drier like temperatures. So definitely dryness sticking around as we have that high pressure system settling into our area now. 31 degrees right now in our dew points, 30 in Quincy. So we'll definitely keep that chapstick on hand. And here's those winds showing why we have those drier like conditions, because we have northerly winds. That's when we know that frontal system has pushed its way through, bringing in most of that dry continental air. Few places a bit breezy, Tallahassee at 7 miles per hour, St. Mark's at 5, but not too bad all around on the bout. Satellite radar, pretty much we had a clear conditions for that morning and afternoon time. As we roll into that evening time, we do see this little deck of some clouds moving off through, but once this cloud moves off, as we get into that national picture, we have that high pressure system building up into the southeast, going to bring some nice, pleasant, like clear conditions for that week. And so definitely going out and take advantage of that with that reinforcing frontal system pushing its way through with our silent radar. Next 24 hours, we do see those clouds push their way through into the evening time. But as we look to see and we get into Saturday morning, waking up if you're going out for your early morning run, pleasant conditions, a bit chilly, so make sure you do have that jacket on hand. But other than that, sun shining all around, and if we get into the afternoon, Still no cloud really in the sky, so very pleasant out for the weekend. And I'm tripping up on my words. Very pleasant conditions out for the next 24 hours. But for tonight, though, going out and about, you're going to need that jacket on if you're going out and about on the town. 30s around the Big Bend area, 32 in Quincy, 33 in Tallahassee. A little bit warmer here in Perry as we see that cutoff of that gradient of those cooler-like temperatures of that cold front pushing its way through in those greens as we get into more south into Perry. And then for tomorrow's forecast, another beautiful, pleasant day. So definitely go out and take advantage of it going on a run or going out and about, going out shopping, or just staying indoors and studying for some homework or for any exams you have coming up. But for tomorrow around the Big Bend, in the 50s right now, 58 in Tallahassee for tomorrow, 58 as well as Quincy, and Thomasville at 56, and a little bit warmer, the warm spot in Perry at 60 degrees. So definitely a very wonderful way to start into the weekend for here in the Big Bend area. But for now, I'm going to move off through and send things over to Catherine with more of a zoomed out southeast. Oh, I forgot the weekend ahead. Well, this is important too. Yeah. My bad. I'm getting so ahead. So weekend, nice pleasant conditions, sunshine continuing around. As we move on into Tuesday, that's what Jake and I have in our desk coming up. We have another frontal system push its way through. There's that morning low of 27 degrees, so definitely going out in your morning classes, make sure you bundle up and continue to have those cool-like temperatures with some cloud cover starting to return back into the next week ahead. But for real for now, I'm going to send things over to Catherine for the southeast.
Thank you, Sarah. We're going to zoom out a little bit if our graphics decide to change over. I think I skipped one, but our current conditions in the greater part of the southeast, the southern tip of the United States, sitting at probably the warmest conditions throughout much of the U.S. But we can see up here that we have our cold air sitting in Little Rock, Nashville, 35 degrees, and 38 degrees in Oklahoma City. So that's where our cold air is sitting. And we have some high pressure systems and some low pressure systems kind of mixing it up out there for folks up north. Our current dew point temperatures are pretty far apart. So if our dew point temperatures are much lower than our regular temperatures, we see drier conditions. So for the greater part of the southeast, we see some drier conditions. Dallas, Texas, San Antonio, Houston, and Brownsville, they're sitting relatively closer to regular temperatures, so we should expect moisture conditions. And Key West and Miami, they've been seeing a lot of precipitation over the last 48 hours, and that's going to continue for the next 24 hours as we head into our weekend. Our wind speed and direction, the greater part of the southeast is experiencing some counterclockwise rotation where our high pressure system is. So wherever there's a high pressure system, there's generally, mostly always, counterclock or clockwise rotation. And our satellite and radar. Here's our high pressure system. We have a stationary front sitting between Houston and Dallas, Texas. That's going to stick around over the next 24 hours, and it's going to bring up some precipitation that's going to hit Brownsville and the Houston area over the next 24 hours. In the southern tip of Florida, Miami still getting some precipitation off the Gulf. And we're going to zoom in a little bit to Arkansas, our interesting little snowstorm that we have up there. Icy conditions are possible where there's a mix between ice or snow and rain. But that storm's kind of moving through from the cold air that's sitting just south of or just north in northern Arkansas. Over the next 24 hours, Friday night, not much happening, but we do have this division where our clouds are. Precipitation's going to kind of come up into Saturday morning and into Saturday evening. Brownsville, that's where we're looking at most. That's what's interesting because we have heavy precipitation coming through into the evening hours. Miami, still sitting behind me, is still seeing some precipitation. That won't clear up for the next few hours, but hopefully later in the week when the high pressure system rolls through, Miami will be seeing clearer conditions. As for tonight's forecast, low temperatures, it's pretty cold for much of the southeast. Brownsville, 60 degrees, and Miami, those are our areas of interest, as those are the areas that are going to be seeing a lot of precipitation in the next 24 hours. And we're going to send it back over to Jake and Sarah at the desk. Oh, I forgot it.
It is Jake and Sarah at the desk. Thank you very much, Catherine. Thankfully, things are pretty calm across most of the southeast. Next week, things are really going to be changing for a
Yes.
big swath of the eastern U.S., though.
Yeah, we had a little sneak peek of here in Tallahassee getting that cold front, but we do have some ridging off into the coast that's going to stay persistent, helping some systems to build up. As we were talking about, we're going to have a Canadian Clipper system come through. I'm from the down south. I'm a Floridian. I don't know what that is, so
Yeah, I
Jake,
grew
can you
up in
explain that?
Illinois, as I've said, I'm sure 100,000 times on the shows by now. We have these systems that usually form in parts of Canada, sometimes with the aid of the Rocky Mountains up in Alberta, and these are able to sort of dive down into the United States, and we have this ridging setup that we're going to have over the western United States here. So some big-time snow is a threat for portions of the Midwest. The really noteworthy thing about this, though, is the cold weather that's going to be coming into those
I've been hearing
areas.
everything on Twitter, weather Twitter, like just the coldness is going to come down, and even the wind chill also playing a big factor into these cold temperatures that are pushing their way through into the northeast, into the Midwest as well.
Yeah, we're talking temperatures 20 to 30 degrees below average here starting Tuesday in portions of the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, eventually moves off to the eastern portions of the U.S. And as you were saying with the wind chills, the colder it gets, you know, a 5 to 10 mile per hour breeze just makes things feel unbearable out there. When you're talking temperatures -10, -20, it can feel like -30 or 40.
Yeah, and that all makes a big difference. I mean, going out and about and just going out with your daily routine, and even the snow affecting people driving on the roads as well, and shutting down schools and businesses and stuff like that. So,
For sure, and that's another issue here, is we can see a low developing over the Mid-Atlantic with this system, likely on Tuesday night, and that could be a snowfall issue for the Mid-Atlantic as well as the Northeast here, which is accustomed to these this time of year, of course.
Yeah, definitely. But for now, we're going to send things over to the wall with Sammy, who's going to talk about the National and talk more about this stuff.
Going off what Jake and Sarah actually said, we have this beautiful purple up here, but with that purple means we have cold, cold temperatures. Chicago, 4 degrees, Minneapolis, 3 degrees, and like they said, wind chill. Now, these actually make life-threatening conditions described by the National Weather Service. So we do have this cold spell up north, but as you go further south, you could start to see those temperatures warming up a bit. Tallahassee, 54 degrees, while San Antonio is a nice 61 degrees. South of Texas, so we're actually getting a little bit of rain right now. You can see that's the only spot of green here on the U.S. map. Other than that, the entire U.S. is at that brown color, and that's due to this dew point being super low. Now, 18 is very low, and that's Atlanta. But if you look towards Minneapolis, -12. Now, that is very low, making it feel very dry outside. Hopefully, no one is actually going outside with those dew points and temperatures actually that low, because it is blistery conditions out there. Even in Albuquerque is 9, Phoenix, 18. So all across the United States, those dew points are very low. We actually don't have much wind throughout the U.S. You can see we have a clockwise conditions with the wind right now, and that is due to the high pressure system dominating over the southeast right now, whereas near California, you can't really see there's 0 miles per hour wind, but we actually have offshore winds right now near the coast of California right now. Looking at the bigger picture, though, we do have this cold front situated up in the northeast. Behind that is a high. Now, this high is giving lots of cold into the Dakotas and Minneapolis, making that wind chill feel very, very low. Now, this high pressure system coming towards us is going to bring us plenty of sun the next few days, while this stationary front off in Texas is just like the name, stationary. It's going to stay there for a few overnight and start to bring a little bit of rain down south. Now, up north, looking at these cooler conditions, especially over the lakes, that's very important because it's going to bring high winds and high surfs off into the lake areas. Now, near Buffalo, we have that winter storm warning and a winter weather advisory over in the purple of Michigan. So very cold, very cool conditions, even in International Falls, the coldest spot of the U.S. with that wind chill warning. We also have the wind chill advisory extending even into North Dakota. So lots of cold in the northeast, But we have even more snow coming over in Billings, Montana. So that's associated with that cold front bringing its way through. But over in California, we are nice and dry right now. No clouds, beautiful skies right now near LA in the Torrey Pines South Course. Shout out to Michael, our producer, for putting the golf forecast in for us today. Now, the next 24 hours, you could expect these clouds to start to move eastwards. You could see, I'm going to step off screen here. You could see that cold front that actually passed through us earlier. But those conditions will start to make its way out of our area through the next 24 hours into Saturday. Rain building up in the southern tip of Texas, though. Tonight's forecast finishing off 29 here in Atlanta, 33 in Tallahassee. Pretty much very cold throughout the entire U.S. San Francisco, 48. And finishing off with the north of -6 and -8 over near Chicago. Now I'm going to take things off over to Catherine.
Yeah, we're going to zoom in a little bit into, well, I guess I'll talk about the Farmers Insurance Open forecast because I missed the Atlanta golf forecast. So if you're watching the golf tournament out in San Diego, temperatures are going to be looking pretty good. It looks like a pretty good day for golf, 72 degrees, 68 degrees and breezy. Our 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, it'll be likely colder than average in the northeastern part of the United States and much warmer than average out west towards California. And our current conditions, here we go. We're going to zoom into Little Rock, Arkansas, our local metro. Jacksonville, 39 degrees. Searcy, 37 degrees. It's pretty cold. This is where our low front, there's a low pressure system coming through Arkansas right now. They're experiencing some snow. We have, here's our snow that's coming through the area up north towards Russellville. Icy conditions, precipitation, there's a division between our snow and our rain. So if you're out in Russellville, be careful, be wary of icy conditions as ice should never really be driven in. We zoom out for the satellite and radar. Here's our high pressure system that's sitting over Arkansas. This low pressure system is what's bringing in the precipitation. So if you're out in this area and you expect some snowy conditions, this is coming in from our Clipper system that's coming out of Canada. And in the next 24 hours, we're going to see the low pressure system move through. Still chance of snow and precipitation in Conway that'll come through Jacksonville and Little Rock and Benton. Expect a chance between rain or snow, and in between there might be some icy conditions. So be wary of any surface that appears shiny, as there might be black ice. It's relatively cold in this area, so anything that looks shiny on the surface of the road might be slippery. So be aware, be wary for that. The next 24 hours, Saturday night, things will clear out. Expect clear conditions, but for tonight, Little Rock's dipping down to 30 degrees and Benton 31 degrees, so it'll get below freezing. But tomorrow, expect temperatures to warm up, 53 degrees in Little Rock and 50 degrees in Benton. We're going to send it back over to the desk.
No, we're actually going to send.
Oh, we're not. We're going to go back to Sarah.
We're going to go over to Florida. Everyone's so we're so excited here at FSU Weather. We're just getting ready to go, go, go. But currently here in Florida, we do see this beautiful, let me move on this side actually. We see this wonderful, all of Florida really feeling those cooler-like temperatures as that cold front did push its way through into the rest of the panhandle. 54 in Pensacola, moving down south closer to my hometown, 60 in Tampa, Orlando at 57, and then over Miami, they're actually pretty chilly down there, a little bit cooler at 64 degrees in Miami. Dew points all around are dry when we get up into the panhandle, most of the panhandle and all the way down to Central Florida, 31 in Tallahassee, 29 in Tampa, one of the more drier spots. But then we have Miami, though, a little bit on the pleasant side, a little bit more moisture down there. They do have some storms, some showers lingering down there, which we'll see in just a moment. Also in our winds, too, you can see bringing in that Atlantic moisture over in their area. But our winds are mostly all from the north or from the east as we have that frontal system push its way through, bringing in that high pressure system as they're basically BFFs. They have to follow each other everywhere. You see that clockwise motion of those winds. And moving into our satellite radar, there's those showers I was talking about on the tip of Miami there, right there, those little showers. But overall, all of Florida, the rest of Florida, seeing a bit patchy area right here of Central Florida, not seeing any clouds in the sky, and then in Tallahassee seeing a bit of some little high altitude light clouds moving off through. As we move into the Panhandle, going to see some cooler light conditions as we move into tonight's forecast. So definitely if you're going out and about, you do have that jacket on with you and stay bundled up. We have Tallahassee at 33. Mariana at 32 and Panama City at 35. Moving down into Central Florida, though, there's that dry patch of not really seeing a cloud in the sky. And then for tonight's forecast, though, a little bit warmer. It has Orlando at 45, Spring Hill close to my hometown at 39, so very pleasant down in Central Florida. And then last but not least, going into South Florida for tonight's temperatures, going to see some lingering showers around the area. 53 in Jupiter, 47 in Tallahassee. And here's our next 24 hours. We do see that frontal system, that reinforcing front, continuing to affect the South Florida, bringing in a lot of rain, but for the rest of Florida, seeing nice, pleasant conditions for Florida. And there's that rain continuing to linger around for the South Florida. As we move into what we're going off into tomorrow, very pleasant conditions all around. But for now, I'm going to send things back over to the desk.
All right, thank you, Sarah. So we're going to talk about current events here in Tallahassee, especially. We do have a swim meet tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be taking place at 11 a.m. at Morecambe Aquatic Center. That is on the southwest side of town. If you know where the engineering school is, the former site of Seminole Golf Course. Right there in that area. I believe there's also a tennis facility there. Bit on the cool side. We're expecting a temperature of about 50 degrees when that meet gets going. Maybe not ideal for you, this high school swimmer.
Because it's an outdoor pool, it's going to be very cold. Make sure if you're going to that meet or if you're swimming in that meet even, layer up because of the outdoor pool. It's going to be very cold in the morning.
All right, I'm going to need to count you down here. 3, 2, 1. Monster Truck Forecast! Yeah, here we go. We have it again. Tomorrow night, going to be taking place at the Donald L. Tucker Civic Center. Looking like a fantastic night to make the commute over there. Temperatures starting off in the 50s around 5 o'clock, cooling down into the 40s, mostly clear skies sticking around.
Yeah, so beautiful weather here in Tallahassee, but we're going to send things off over to the women's basketball game in Vermont.
Or Virginia, actually.
Virginia, excuse me, sorry.
I wrote VT on our notes here. That's the abbreviation for Vermont. But yeah, Virginia Tech. They're going to take it out in Black Spring. I can see the issue there. That game's going to be Sunday at 2 p.m. out in Blacksburg. Showers could be an issue. Temperature is going to be in the 30s. Not quite on the snow line there. Men's basketball is going to be taking on the Miami Hurricanes on Sunday as well.
Yeah, so that is actually in Miami. So lots of rain, especially in Miami and Virginia Tech as well, not Vermont. But those basketball games, if you're heading over to the area, it'll be very cool to see. Both very good games.
Both teams looking to bounce back here. The women took a tough loss against Louisville yesterday. Men bounced back on Tuesday with a win against Clemson. Hopefully the weather is going to be the only one of our concerns for that, and hopefully we can get a couple of W's there. As for now, I'm going to take things out to the wall. Our last local forecast, current conditions across Tallahassee, looking fantastic today. We got up to a high of 58 degrees here. Still below our average for this time of year. Currently sitting at 54 degrees. You see the live sunset camera behind me here at Doak Campbell Stadium. Mostly cloudy skies, again 54 for that. Looking like a beautiful, beautiful night for us out there. Light breeze out of the north at 7 miles per hour, just before about 6:30 p.m. here in Tallahassee. The current conditions provide a pretty wide contrast if you go up into southwestern Georgia. Much cooler air settling in away from the coastline. Blakely down to 46 degrees already. Some more clearing in those spots as well, so you can expect more of that radiative loss to space essentially in terms of that heat. So some more cooling is expected in those spots. We're going to be getting well into the 30s in those areas later on tonight, but for now, already getting pretty cool out there. The dew points are fairly consistent for much of the area. Some spots trying to get down into the 20s, including St. Mark's, a bit of an oddball near the coast, but those northerly winds don't really make much of a difference when it comes to the coastal versus inland areas. Camilla at 36 being the high spot on the map, but otherwise dry air working in at both the lower and upper levels of the atmosphere. As for that wind speed, again, out of the north here, generally about 5 miles per hour, a little bit less breezy than what we saw yesterday, and especially 2 days ago when we were seeing 40-mile mile-per-hour gusts before those storms came in at night. So thankfully that's calmed down a bit and should help to moderate some of those concerns about wind chills later on in the night when the temperatures drop down into the 30s. As far as that satellite and radar looks, not really too much going on. A deck of low clouds moving through the region right now ahead of that reinforcing front, as Michael so aptly put it today. I love that term. Moving northwest to southeast across the region. That should slide out by the end of the night tonight, setting up for mostly clear skies once again tomorrow morning. We see that right now. That high pressure will work its way into our region here, settling in right over the southeastern United States already, over parts of Mississippi here. That front will move through in the next few hours as well and bring us some slightly cooler and even drier air settling into tomorrow and the remainder of what's going to be a fantastic weekend ahead for us. So again, for the next 24 hours, we could look at those low clouds sticking around for tonight, but by tomorrow morning things should clear out, looking at a mostly clear start to the day and really for the entirety of the day, as those temperatures will rebound to just about what we saw today here. We had that high of about 58 degrees earlier this afternoon, and that looks to be a pretty similar picture for what we're expecting tomorrow, with again mostly sunny skies in our immediate picture. As for tonight, cooling down pretty significantly, 33 degrees, could see our 7th freeze of the month coming up here. We've already had 10 for the entire season. Partly cloudy skies clearing a little bit overnight here, which should allow that temperature to drop right before the sunrise. A light breeze out of the north-northwest, once again helping to drop those temperatures a little bit more. Not as strong of a breeze to mix that air around in the lower levels of the atmosphere. As for tomorrow, 59 degrees for the afternoon high, sunny skies, nice and cool and crisp, one of my favorite words ever. Winds out of the north-northeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. So again, a very just fantastic day for all of us across the Big Bend region. And I am golfing in that fantastic weather. We're teeing off at 9:19 a.m., so nice and cool for us, temps in the low 40s, but thankfully heating up back into those mid-50s by the time we wrap up our round and I hopefully figure out what is going on with my game, because I am playing terribly right now. As far as the week ahead, 59 degrees on Sunday before our next rainmaker works its way back in. On the bright side, temperatures will rebound, but of course, another front is on the way through, so another pretty substantial cool down going to be coming in behind that. We could be looking at a night or maybe even 2 nights dropping back down into the 20s. So now we'll take things home where Sarah and Catherine are standing by at the desk.
Yes, thank you, Jake. Yeah, I think everyone on the show just has the googles today. And I mean, why not? We have very pleasant conditions going on for this weekend. As we get into Saturday, we have, we saw that satellite radar, clear skies, 50s. Like high 50s.
It's going to be a nice week to kind of just hang out.
And relax.
Walk around FSU's campus. I know I like to hang out. I haven't hung out on the, what's it called? The Landis Green?
Landis Green, yeah.
But I think that'll be a good weekend to hang out there.
Yeah, definitely. Especially until we get into next week. When we get into Tuesday, we're going to have that next frontal system come through. If we saw that 7-day forecast, if we can bring it up, we did see that 20 degrees.
20 degrees. It's going to dip down, and I think Jay can attest to this. I like the word crisp also, but I really like walking out and feeling some good crisp air. So this Arctic air coming and dipping down, kind of touching Tallahassee, is kind of really nice for me.
But if you're from South Florida, like us here at FSU, like this kind of may be a shock for you guys. So make sure you are prepared to have those jackets. Bring those jackets back.
Yes. And
those winter jackets back. Because if you're going out for your 8 a.m. classes, it will be chilly. So you've been pre-warned. Make sure you have those jackets on unless you want to be cold.
Yes.
But overall, I mean, after that, I mean, the sun comes back after Tuesday and, pretty nice conditions. But for now, make sure you follow us on all the social media. We have Facebook. And then we have also Twitter
and Instagram.
Yeah. So
you can catch some good bloopers like yesterday's.
Yeah, yesterday's bloopers. Yeah, definitely. Definitely make sure to keep up to date and also all that stuff. So always follow us on all our social media page. But for us here at FSU Weather, I'm student meteorologist Sarah Converse.
And I'm student meteorologist Catherine Busick. Thank you for tuning in. Happy Friday.
And have a great night.